A lot of people clearly saw Harris's speech at the Ellipse. I know one member of the audience, Donald Trump, because he bleated, Kamala's speech was terrible, full of lies, and nothing new. Where are the jobs? There are none. I mean, look, she's a politician. I would not be surprised that were you to fact check every claim she made, some of them would turn out not to be true. You're the worst possible messenger for that, Donald Trump. But full of lies, nothing new. Okay, well, that's your opinion. Feel free to it. Where are the jobs? There are none. Look, the economy could definitely be stronger. I think there's a reason that she is not doing better is because people feel like the economy has not recovered fully or quickly enough from the pandemic. That said, he doesn't even understand the issues with the economy. Where are the jobs? The unemployment rate is 4.1%. It could be lower. It could be lower. It has been a little before. In October, private job growth was 233,000, far more than had been predicted. The best month for job creation since July 2023. But the thing about it is, like, I could explain his message as ignorance, that he literally has no idea what's happening in the economy because he's a 100% disconnected from reality billionaire who's never had to work for a living. I could say that and I would be right. I could also tell you, and I would be right, if he knows he's lying to you. He's lying about the inflation numbers and he's lying to you about the jobs numbers because he doesn't think he has as good of a chance if you know how the economy has been improving over the past year. But if he runs against the worst numbers he can come up with from the last 4 years, then he thinks he has a better chance. And he cares more about winning than you actually knowing what's happening in our country. And then he does this, which is even more topsy-turvy, bizarro world nonsense, considering the scandal, the uproar over the Puerto Rico garbage comment, which we'll talk about more later in the show. While I am running a campaign of positive solutions to save America, oh boy, Kamala Harris is running a campaign of hate. She has spent all week comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. Now on top of everything, Joe Biden calls our supporters garbage, which we'll talk about. You can't lead America if you don't love the American people. Oh, Trump loves the American people, all of them, not just ones that look like her. Like him. He says he's proud to lead the biggest, broadest, and most important political coalition in American history. We're welcoming historic numbers of Latinos, even ones from floating piles of garbage. African Americans, Asian Americans, and citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Both the religions that are allowed to come into the country and those which will soon be banned. It's my desire to be the president of all the people. Yeah, no, that's a good message, dude, that you should have started pushing at least 2 years ago. I would say 8 years ago would have really benefited you. It's a bit late in the game to do that now. It's like Ted Cruz trying to push the idea that he's a bipartisan senator because he's feeling pressured by Colin Allred. It's absolute madness, especially considering the fears coming from your campaign about the damage that your Madison Square Garden rally did to your chances of getting elected president. Right, what do you think?
I mean, Donald, does anyone believe? I guess they do, because I talked to them. I went to a Turning Point, Talking Point USA rally at the RNC to do interviews with people, and they do believe that Donald Trump is a positive, uplifting figure, which is insane.
It's crazy.
Because as I said earlier, like the ads that he's running during football are like I think there's plenty of conversations to be had about like all kinds of issues, including trans rights and trans participation in sports. But like Donald Trump's things, like speech, like his ads are just like old timey ads during the Civil Rights Act. They're like, do you want your daughter going to school with a black? That's the feeling of watching a Donald Trump trans ad. Yeah. That's what it's like. It's shocking.
Well, and the polls show that Republicans are tired of it. They were arguably tired of it in 2022. It didn't help them win those races.
It's shockingly hateful. And the guy 100%, you could put together, and people have nonstop diatribes of him talking hatefully about others. And this is a guy who was gonna withhold federal aid from Californian wildfire victims because they didn't necessarily vote for him.
Yeah.
That's the unifier in chief. And I looked at these people eye to eye, and I was like, do you honestly believe that Trump is a purely positive figure? And you could see them in their mind go, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. but they can't give it up. It's fine, guys. You can just admit reality. It's totally
Yeah.
fine.
And the hilarious thing about it is they'll be like, he's an uplifting figure. And then you'll be like, as you just did, he withheld aid to California, not just California, by the way, Republican governors that he was feuding with, he withheld aid. He just promised a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weekends ago, that he'll do it again. And if they were presented with that, does anybody think that they would be against that? Okay, get that, like, hypocrisy is such an antiquated concept. It has nothing to do with any of this, because principles have nothing to do with any of this. They like the idea that we would call him a unifier because I guess that helps us. They don't want him to unify. Unify with the people they hate, the enemy within. They don't actually want that. They want him to persecute his enemies and the people they've been convinced, generally falsely, to believe are their enemies. So all of this is nonsense. All of this is fantasy land stuff. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.